Katzcradul here. I hate for a week to go by without putting a video up, so I'm going to give you a short one today. This is our garden. It's been much too cold and too wet to work, but I want to show you a couple of things that we're working on. Right here we've got the rain barrels that we installed last year. Just a little bit of rain will fill them up. That's been awesome. Right here along the house, it was full of decorative hostas, which I've pulled up. Don't know that you can eat them, so I got rid of them. And in the cages are 2 thornless blackberries. We're going to pan around here just a little bit. Right here is a little short fence, a very short fence that we have separated a section of the patio off for the dogs. And down here is where I'm going to plant sugar snap peas growing up. There's the gate that leads to our patio. And then if you come around here, there's a little patch of violets right there. I haven't pulled those up because they go great on a salad. They're wild, but they're wonderful. And here is a cilantro that actually was not growing there last year, but some of the seeds must have blown there. I have finally learned that cilantro does not like warm weather. It goes to seed very rapidly. So what I plan to do is keep it growing while it's cool, harvest it, and I'll show you how to put that up sometime later. Here's our raspberry that we planted last year. It did just great last year. It blooms twice a year. It's put up a couple of little runners here. There's one, and there's one over there by that rhubarb. We're trying to plant as much food as we can that we don't have to replant every year. We're going to have blueberries and blackberries and rhubarb. That all comes back. I don't have to worry about it. We've put our 3 little hens out here this afternoon to try to eat some of the weeds that are growing. But what I really want to show you is my apple trees. And I can tell you everything I know about apples in about 5 minutes. We don't have much space. I have pretty much showed you the perimeter of this garden. It is very small. That is our entire backyard. So what I did last year was I purchased 2 apple trees, and I will tell you I'm very fond of Stark Brothers in Missouri. They shipped me these apple trees that look like 2 little pathetic twigs. I put them in the ground, and within about 3 or 4 days they were leafing out in vibrant green, and they've done very, very well. I was worried when winter came on that they were too small and they wouldn't live. We had lots of snow this winter, so I was really scared. But as soon as the weather warmed up, they leafed back out, and they looked just awesome. Now, these are going to be small apple trees. I bought 2 different kinds. I can tell you at some later date what they are, but the good people at Stark Brothers told me I needed to have 2 apple trees in my yard, so that's what I did. And what I have done to these is I guess it originated in France. The word is French. It's called a espalier. I have trained them along my fence, and they will grow the whole length of this fence. What we did was we took 3 different strands of pretty stout wire here, and my husband drilled the bolts in the big square fence post and then wrapped the wire around them. There's 3 different levels. Do you remember how many inches apart they are, honey? I think they're about 18.
36.
No. This isn't a yard. They're about 18 inches apart, I think. I can check that for you. And we did them we strung them the whole length of the fence. I've got a bug in my eye. It's driving me crazy. You can see under the apple trees we planted strawberries, and they're just going crazy trying to creep out into the garden. But I want to show you here what we've done. As the branches grow out, see this one's turning up here? I don't want that. I want it to grow along this wire the whole length of the fence. So what I do is I come in here when it starts turning up like that, and I pull it down gently, and this is just old cut up pantyhose legs, and I just tie a little bow with that pantyhose and secure that down. Here's another one. You'll see this one down here. See how this is popping up from the wire? All I do is come and tie it. And during the spring and summer months, you do have to tie pretty often, but I don't care. It just means my tree's growing, and I love that. So there you go. And see, this has really grown out from that tree. That's more than 36 inches there. So that looks awesome. I will tell you, it is a very scary thing to do, because when that tree starts growing up, you want to keep it small. So I have cut it off several times here. But what you have to do is you have to just be brutal and cut off everything that's not growing at the level where those wires are. So you can see at the first wire, like I'm going to come cut this out right here. I'm going to nip that off because I've got one trained here and one trained here. There were other little shoots coming up the trunk, but I cut those off to try to force these limbs out exactly where I wanted them. Now I will tell you, this limb was out last fall or last winter when this tree went to sleep. This was not here, and I was so worried that I wasn't going to get a limb coming out here that I could tie down this wire. But look what's happened this spring. A shoot came out there, and so I will train this branch down that wire. So here's one. Look at this. This wasn't here last year either, so now I've got one to train down this wire. All these will be cut off because I want to force the growth out on these main limbs, because these wires are what's going to support that branch when it fruits. I'm very excited about this. I studied a long time to figure out how to do it, and to work up my nerve to prune the little trees as dramatically as they need to be pruned. You can see this one's looking wonderful. I've got shoots at the bottom two levels. This one will need to be tied. I'll have to get more pantyhose. This one needs to be tied. This one that's coming up like this, this shoot that's coming up like this, I will cut this off because I only want the growth to be horizontal. Little budding here, and these may come on out here. But anyway, this is my espaliered fruit. I'm going to grow it flat against the fence. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and I'll try to get back to you. This is a turnbuckle, and what happens is if this wire starts to sag, then, well, you turn this and you can tighten it up so that it will keep this wire taut, and you won't have any sagging. And that needs to be installed somewhere along the line. I'll show you one other funny thing. I want to show them this hole over here. We decided on espaliering these fruit trees after we put in this little fence. And so I had my husband drill a hole in that little fence, and we sent that wire straight through.